thank you for coming and meeting me on such a short notice. Of course, this is a private, very secret operation, so I'm hoping that we can keep meeting like this, as you may want to send me more people to learn of this project. Hermione has asked me to assist those who wish to help in the project S.p.e.w. Of freeing the house elves by teaching those who do not know how to knit how to. And so here we are. I'm going to show you exactly how to knit. We are doing a very simple garment, as we need to do a lot of them in order to reach all of the house elves, not just in Hogwarts, but like in other areas of Great Britain and under the Muggles' noses, basically. Anyone and everyone who uses house elf slave labor, we are trying to free them. So here we go. Are you ready? Thank you so much for being willing to learn. It's a skill that will help you later in life as well. And here we go. So the first thing I would like to show you is a trick that we use with magic that is a little bit more complicated for the Muggles as far as what goes into it. Thankfully, we have magical blood, and therefore we do have the ability to use magic for this. So you start with your yarn, and you start with a pair of needles. Now, the way that I know how to make hats, which is what we're going to make, little beanies for the house elves, I use needles that are connected by this wire, and so it's easier to move the stitches once they are on the needles, down and around, and I will show you how to do that. But the trick I wanted to show you is, let's say you have your yarn here and you wish to change its color. Now, Muggles would go and get a new ball of yarn, the same type, same feeling, same width and weight, in whatever color they choose. But if you don't want to do that, and if you know how to use magic, I will show you what to do instead. So you take your wand, of course holding it loosely so you don't contract and constrict the magic coming through. Of course, we also want to hold our needles loosely, goes with the territory, not wanting to constrict the yarn around the needles and make it too tight. You point at the yarn and say, Delta pigment, Delta pigment, Delta pigment, Delta pigment. Oh, I think I have just accidentally changed mine already. I was pointing a little too close to that. That was just supposed to be a demonstration. So now what we are going to do is learn how to cast on. The first thing you have to do and have to know about casting on is that you make the first knot, which is like a slip knot. I will show you how. So you take the yarn and you leave a tail that's going to be long enough to create the rest of the stitches for whatever project you're working on. Okay, so that's probably good. I'm still not the best at judging how much of a tail you need. But anyways, here we are. So I like to take 3 fingers and wrap the yarn around 3 times. 3 fingers, 3 times. And then you take this end one here, you go over the middle, under the other side, so I will show you again. Watch very closely. It took me a few tries to get it. It still takes me a couple tries if I haven't been knitting in a while. But no shame in that. You just wrap 3 times around your 3 fingers here. You take the end one, go over the middle, and then you switch to the other side and you put the other side under the middle. So it's quite an exchange. Okay, there's your knot. And one more time, just in case, because sometimes I worry that I don't explain things well, but I'm sure you'll be able to get it. You take the yarn and wrap it 3 times. You take the end piece, put it under the other end, and now you have the end one in your fingers. Push it back under. Okay, and now you have your first knot, your first loop in the series of knitting. So the next part is called casting on. For a human size head, we cast on about 50 stitches, or a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what style and what stitches you're going to be doing. Like for cable knit, it might be a little bit different, and for popcorn stitch, it might be a little bit different. You add stitches and take them away accordingly to the pattern. But you have your first stitch here already, which was the knot. So you're going to take the needle in your right hand. You're going to take the thread or yarn, the tail, in your left hand, wrap it around your finger, get around, put the needle through, wrap this around and over. Again, you're going to take the thread around your thumb, put the needle through it, grab the needle, wrap the string, and then pop that one off your thumb and then over. And I will do it a bunch more times so you can get the hang of it. You take the thread, wrap it around your thumb, put the needle through this edge here, grab the needle, wrap this around, and then pop this piece over the needle and pull it not completely tight, but tight enough that you make a little chain. So you take the thread, wrap it around, put it through, grab, wrap, pop. Right? See, I promise it gets easier, and I promise there are probably other better teachers out there in the world, but I was the only one that had the free schedule to meet you for today, and especially with the urgency of this situation and the passion that Hermione has for this project and these poor house elves that need to be freed and need to work, and get paid more and have more free time and not be worked to the bone. So you get it. Anyways, let's keep going. So you wrap, stick, grab, wrap, pop. Wrap, stick, grab, wrap, and pop. Wrap, stick, grab, wrap, and pop. Wrap, stick, grab, wrap, pop. Okay, and I hope you can see now we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches so far. I think we'll do about 20 for this project, just because they don't need to be that big at all. They just need to be big enough to for the house elf to consider it a hat for them. Okay. And also I want to mention that Hermione likes making socks for them as well. So that is a separate type of project, still tubular, just like hats are in the round, knitting in the round. Socks are also obviously knitting in the round, much smaller for their small feet and small hands, all that type of little sock-like shape. So wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop, pull. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Okay. Alright. And honestly, the number of stitches doesn't really matter with this, because we're not catering to a specific pattern for these hats. They don't have to be exact. It's not really about the house elves wearing them, and their heads are small, so anywhere around 20-25 stitches will work just fine. So if you happen to go over a couple or not make it quite to 20, or you miscalculate or something, don't worry about that at all. Okay. So wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. 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 Okay. So we're getting close to about 20 stitches. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Okay. So wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Wrap, stick, pinch, wrap, pop. Okay. So for the sake of moving on, and for the timing of these little creatures, we will go ahead and start the actual knitting part, which is pretty similar to casting on as far as using the strings to wrap. So you want to keep your yarn to the right of you, your ball of yarn, your skein of yarn, whatever it is that you have. You want to keep it to the right because you want this thread coming from the right. Now, technically speaking, when you knit, you transfer the stitches from one needle to the other back and forth. Each time you transfer, it's called a row. So for the first row and from then on, we're going to start with the top of the needle, the top stitch on the needle here. Okay. Well, I guess this should be over here so I can turn properly and let you see what's going on here. We're going to pick up the first stitch with the needle that's empty of stitches. We're going to see how they're both in there. Wrap the end that's on the right, attached to the ball of yarn, around that empty needle, in between, coming over that stitch. Then we're going to take that empty needle again over top of that yarn we just wrapped, pick up the rest of the stitch and slide it off over. Again, I will do it a bunch more times so that you can see how it's done. Okay. Pick it up. That thread is still here. Wrap it around. Go down and then slide it on off. Pick it up, around, down, and then up. Pick it up, wrap that around, go down, and slide it off. Pick it up, around. So I just now realized you may not be able to see. Around like this, and then down, and then up. Pick it up, around, down in between, and slide. So now you've got a little bit more on this. It's starting to take shape a little bit. So you can go pick it up, around, down, and then up. Okay. Are you seeing? Are you seeing it? Okay. Now I'm going to get through this row. Okay, so now we've reached almost the end of that first row here. I will show you what to do because it's a little bit different than just knitting from straight needles that aren't attached by that wire in the middle here. So we're going to go ahead and separate this a little bit, take some stitches off the bottom, whatever will fit, and slide them over to that other needle from the bottom, and this will take shape into a round shape. Okay, so we slid them. See how it's kind of creating a circle now? Okay, so we finish. Pick it up, around, down, and then up. We're trying to continue this loop here. Just a little tricky when we have such a small loop. Pick it up, around, down, and then up. Pick it up, around, down, up. Okay, I'm going to slide a few more stitches over there so that it won't be as hard to reach. Okay, so we still have that first row. We're on the last, see how we're on the last stitch of that first row. So we're going to continue to pick it up, go around, go down, and then slide it over. Now technically we've just completed a row, but remember we slid half the stitches back onto the other side so we can keep going and complete the circle. So we're going to pretend like this is the top of the next row again. Pick it up, around, down, and then off the end. Now we have just completed the circle. And pretty much the hat is just doing that a bunch more times until you have a little bit of length, and then I will show you how to bind off and close it up, and yeah, that's the project. So just keep going here until we have a little bit of length, and then I can show you how to close it. Okay. Well, I think if you're good, we can go about our business and meet another day, and I will show you, once you've gotten those rows done, how to bind it off and complete your little hat. And the cool thing is that it actually, the same rules apply to human size hats, so you can make hats for yourself as well. So yes, thank you so much for meeting, and again remember, on this project, because we don't want anybody interfering. Anybody who appreciates slaves appreciates slave labor. You know, with the house elves, we want to let them be secretly freed. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to tuck in all of your yarn and stitches, all of your needles, so they can't be seen whenever you go out that door. I thought I heard some people in the hallway earlier, so just be careful, be vigilant, and I will see you soon.